Hello, Power fans, and Mathonical join me for round 2 with Priest Reanimator. Our opening hand, not a keepable, and we are sending this one back. And this is a little bit clunky, but we can make it work. At worst case, we're going to be able to play an Ash Barrens, cycle an Ash Barrens, tap the mana, bounce it back, cycle another one, with Faithless Looting to throw away a Stinkweed Imp to get some dredge on. Yeah, well, we'll try it. Evolving Wilds, we don't care about that. And let's go. Oh, we've got a mountain to start off, so we have an option of Barrens or looting, but I'm just going to go with the looting right away. Let's see how we can improve our hand. Another Stinkweed Imp, let's just toss one of those away, and might as well go with both. We'll have lots of lands just kind of play around with later on, get the Faithless Looting going, and the Tormenting Voice. And of course we'll play the cycle the Ash Barrens and play the Carnarium next turn. I'm not going to be dredging any Stinkweed Imps just yet, because we do want a bit more action going on in our hand. Still not sure what we're playing against. It could be Tron, but until we see a Tron piece, it could just be some kind of multicolored deck. Exhume is nice. This means we are definitely going to start dredging our Stinkweed Imps because we do want to find one of our Crushers at this point. And now we know for sure we are against Tron. Get in for the 1 damage. Send that message. So we're going to Tormenting Voice, throw Stinkweed Imps away and redraw them. And we did manage to find a Crusher, so we're going to try and play Exhume here. The reason why we're playing it into available mana, I do want to try and prevent them from using this Expedition map. Like, if we do nothing, they just crack it, and they get use out of their mana. So we're just going to keep going. Lots of Stinkweed Imps. We're going to have to start playing them. That's fine. If we take a look through our graveyard, we do have a Faithless Looting we'll be able to use at some point, and we do have the Marshal and the Prospector. We have an Unearth here, but we still don't have a Priest in the graveyard, so we're just looking for the Crown. We've got the Crown in hand, so now we can start going nuts with trying to get a Priest in the graveyard. We did manage, they're tapped out low enough that we were able to find an Exhume and play a Crusher. It's not guaranteed to stick, and they've got enough things out that it's not a guaranteed win at this point, but we'll still give it a try. So here we go. Get the looting on. Not a ton there, so we're just going to use the Faithless Looting. Still not finding anything great. Neonate, just to get a bit more damage in. Right now, we're going to be sticking with the Ulamog's Crusher plan until they're able to answer that, and at that point in time, we'll try and make the shift over to the Priest. Alright, so if they're tapped out completely at this point, and, well, we managed to find the Priest, so here we go. As we saw in game 1, we're just going to go through this infinite combo by getting back the Marshal as many times as we need to, by sacking 2 creatures, generating 1 extra Goblin token along the way. And now there's a few different ways we can go about this combo. The way I've been liking to do it is once I've generated enough tokens, I like to pull out all of the cost 1 and 2 creatures out of my graveyard, just because when you target the High Priest, if there's only 1 available target in your graveyard, it will auto-target, so it makes 1 less click per rotation when you're doing this combo. So now that I've got everything else out of my graveyard, it's always going to automatically target the Mogg War Marshal. You also want to make sure when you're going through this combo, you have everything auto-yielding, so the only clicks you have to do are targeting your High Priest with a Crown. You're going to then have to yield to the Crown on the stack because it's brought back the War Marshal and made a token. So then you yield to that, you then sack the War Marshal and you sack a token to get 1 mana. Bounce it back, click it back, and that's the loop. You keep going. What you saw me do right there is after I've made enough tokens, just to kind of clean up the battlefield and to get a better loop going, I sacrifice all the tokens to generate like 10 mana. It allows me to just loop the Crown back and forth and focus on like 1 thing at a time. This is one technique that you can use to speed it up, is just to focus on 1 part of the combo at once. So sacrifice a Goblin, you just keep going back and forth to sacrifice them all. And then once they're all sacrificed, and you've generated enough mana, you just have to put the Crown on like the Hasty Firebrand. This is the fastest way to get the instant kill. And once it's on there, you just pump it up to the damage needed. You swing in there, and you get the win. As you can see, it did take a while. This is still game 1, and I've already used almost 12 minutes of my clock. So we're going to have to play a faster game 2 and really go for it. So over to game number 2, we're going to take a quick look at the sideboard. We definitely want all of these Pyroblasts. They have a lot of blue going on. We just want to make sure we're getting in the way of that, stopping their counter spells, digging, card draw, anything we can really stop there. There is the argument that we may want to bring in the Anglers if we want to go for the fast game plan, but since we still have over 13 minutes on the clock, I think it's reasonable that we should be able to go for a fast game plan. An Angler by itself isn't that great. If we do have to reanimate something or play some big fat thing, we'd prefer it to be Ulamog's Pressure just to kind of lock them out of the game. So that's all kind of off the table. Just the Pyroblast. We're going to take out an Unearth, a Marshal, a Neonate, and a Lava Dart. Just a little trim across the board. And with that, let's take a look at our opening hand. Our opening hand was a keepable one because of the Faithless Looting, being able to toss the Stinkweed Imps. And yeah, we kept that. Pyroblast is a great pickup. That's the kind of card we were going to want to sort of get in their way. We would like to find something other than a red source at some point, but for now this is fine. We're going to be holding up the Pyroblast whenever we can. Gonna just play some of this stuff down. By the fact that they tapped that mana and then now they're reconsidering, it makes me think that they do have a counterspell. They considered countering this, but then they thought better of it, probably because they have an Electrickery. It's always good to try and read into your opponent's mentality when they're thinking and, you know, they do things like that. We're gonna go ahead and keep the War Marshal because I do suspect they have an Electrickery. I just want to kind of get in for some damage, and yet, sure enough, here it is. This way we do get that token back. We are going to keep this Pyroblast up. No need to put the shields down. And sure enough, here's a Muldrifter. We do want to stop that. We don't want them to refill their hand and start finding things that they want. So here we have the whole combo, except we don't have a way of playing the Priest just yet. Here, when they're playing the Muldrifter, I really did not want them to get that, so I took the greedy play of sacking the Neonate to draw a card, hoping to draw a Pyroblast, which I did, and allowed me to counter the Muldrifter, so awesome there. Now that we have the black source, it's going to be tempting to use the Stinkweed Imp to dredge to try and find something to exhume a High Priest. That's a little bit more likely than finding a white source, so we're going to go ahead and do that, and sure enough, we did find that High Priest. They're on 1 black mana, which is unlikely to be able to interrupt the combo, so we are just going to go for it here. Simple matter of starting it up, hitting the Crown of Flame on the High Priest, and we're just going to start sacking through a lot of these things. And the quickest way to win... So, this is one of the differences that I have in here that Kung Fu Trees did not have. The Insolent Neonate in the graveyard allows us to essentially cycle our hand through our entire deck. It allows us to dig during this combo. It's just kind of, it's also synergizes quite nicely with the Ulamog's Pressure, being able to discard it as part of the Reanimator package, but here it's going to be, we're guaranteed to be able to win in this very turn. It's just going to take us a little while, and since we do have the Firebrand, of course, we don't need to dig anywhere for it. Instead, what we're going to have to do is pull back this Firebrand a bunch of times, ping off both of their Muldrifters, then generate something like 23 additional mana, and swing in for a very large hasty Firebrand. So it's a bit of a grind. To save everybody the trouble of watching through this, let's click the fast forward button. And as you can see, my time is going down pretty quick. There's a lot of clicks that have to be going on. We have to generate so much mana. So over and over again, we are sacking the Mogg War Marshal, sacking a Goblin, bouncing that crown, putting it back in the High Priest, and generating 1 mana every single time. I sacked all the Goblins to see how much mana we're up to, needed a little bit more, so made a little bit more. Made sure I'm just keeping the Mogg War Marshal on the table just in case we need to start the combo again. But here we go, crown on the Firebrand, slam in there for 24 damage, and we have the win. That took us, well, about 11 minutes to get that win, full combo start to finish. I could probably get a little bit faster. It's going to take some practice, but it is nice to just be able to win the turn you go in instead of Rally Gone where you have to wait. Thank you for joining me for round 2, and I will see you in the next round.